In the darkness of space, the quiet ended with a boom. The human ship Atlas was flying close to the neutral zone when it was attacked. No warning, no signals. Just bright flashes and shaking metal. Commander Jason Reed jumped from his chair as the alarm screamed. "Shields at 40%. We're under fire," shouted Ensign Kira from the control panel. Jason's face hardened. "Who's firing?" The answer came through a trembling voice. "Alien signature detected. It's single quotes S. The Corellians." Jason frowned. "They're supposed to be allies." "Not anymore." Within seconds, the ship shook again. Then something strange happened. The firing stopped. Silence returned, like someone had pressed pause on the universe. Then, a message came through. The alien voice was cold, calm, and female. "Surrender, or we board." Jason didn't surrender. He ordered his crew to prepare for boarding combat. But when the Corellians entered the ship, Jason noticed something odd. Their soldiers were all female, strong, tall, with purple skin and glowing eyes. No males. Not one. As the battle began, Jason fought hand-to-hand with a Corellian warrior. She was fast, skilled, but she paused, staring at him. "You are male," she said, confused. "And you're trying to kill me," Jason grunted, blocking a punch. She stopped completely. Then she asked, "Why do you stand in front of the females?" Jason raised an eyebrow. "Because I'm the commander." Her eyes narrowed. "But males go behind. Females first." He didn't understand. And neither did she. Moments later, backup arrived and the alien warrior was captured. Jason ordered her taken to the interrogation room, unharmed. Hours passed. Jason sat across from her, arms crossed. She looked at him with equal confusion. "My name is Vilena," she said slowly. "I am warrior rank 4. I led this raid." "But I do not understand. You, a male, command. You protect your females." Jason replied calmly, "And you send yours to die first." Vilena blinked. "It is the way. Females are strong. Males are soft." Jason shook his head. "That's not how we do things." There was silence. The tension between them was strange, not angry, not calm, curious. Vilena leaned forward. "So when you opened the hatch, why did the male exit first?" Jason chuckled. "It's called manners." She frowned. "What is manners?" Jason stood up. "We'll talk again tomorrow." As he left the room, he couldn't help but wonder, why did they attack now? Why target Atlas? And why was a warrior like her leading such a mission alone? Later that night, Jason reviewed the battle logs. Something didn't add up. The Corellian ship had only sent one small unit. That wasn't a full invasion, it was a test, and Vilena was the test. He looked at her file. High combat rank, royal bloodline. Daughter of the Corellian High Matron. This wasn't war. This was personal. Meanwhile, in the holding cell, Vilena sat on the metal bench, staring at her own reflection in the glass. The human male's actions echoed in her mind. "Ladies first," he had said. She thought about that. Again and again. Jason walked into the briefing room with a fresh cup of coffee, but his mind was far from calm. He placed the cup on the table and pulled up the full report on Vel. Now, the file confirmed his suspicion. She wasn't just a warrior, she was heir to the Corellian Matron Council. Why would someone like her attack a human ship alone? He asked aloud. Lieutenant Sarah, his science officer, answered from across the room. Maybe it wasn't an attack. Maybe it was a test. A diplomatic trick. Jason leaned back in his chair. She wanted to get caught. Sarah nodded. Could be. Her ship left the moment she boarded ours. It didn't stay to fight or rescue her. That was true. And strange. Jason stood and headed toward the holding cell again. If Velena had a secret, it was time to learn it. Velena sat calmly when he entered. She didn't look like a prisoner. She looked like a guest who was waiting for tea. Her hands were folded and her back was straight. "You've been quiet," Jason said. "I've been thinking," Velena replied, "about your people, your customs, and you." Jason raised an eyebrow. "Me? Yes, you confused me. You treated your females like leaders. You didn't hide behind them. You even let them speak in front of you." Jason smiled slightly. "We call it equality." Velena frowned. "We call it foolish." He sat down across from her. "Then why are you here?" Velena was quiet for a moment, then answered, "To observe humans. To understand your strengths and your weaknesses." "So, you came alone to spy?" Jason asked. She tilted her head. "Would you tell your leaders the truth if I said yes?" Jason chuckled. "Probably not. But I need to know if this was your idea or your mother's." Velena's face turned cold. "My mother ordered it. She believes humans are a danger to our future. She wanted me to see for myself if you were what she calls soft." Jason leaned forward. "And what do you think now?" Velena hesitated. "You are soft, but not weak. You confuse kindness with power. It is strange." Jason replied, "And you confuse cruelty with strength." Their eyes locked. No anger, just deep, alien curiosity. Later that day, Jason met with his senior officers. "We can't keep her forever," Sarah said. "If we return her, it might send a message of peace. But if we do," said Commander Bryce, "her people might think we're afraid." Jason rubbed his forehead. "We need to figure out her real mission. I don't think she came just to spy. She's studying us closely, especially our social rules," Sarah smirked. "Like ladies first," Jason chuckled. Yeah, that really bothered her. In her cell, Velena was replaying the scene again in her head. Jason opening the door and saying, "After you." Why would a male do that? In her world, males followed. Always. But this human didn't act like prey. He wasn't hiding. He was offering something. Respect? Or something more? She closed her eyes. A memory from her childhood came back. Her mother once said, "Never expect kindness from the weak. They cannot afford it." Yet this human was kind and strong. What did that mean? That night, Velena requested a meeting with only Jason. In the observation room, the crew watched nervously through the glass. Jason entered alone and sat across from her again. "I will give you information," she said calmly. "But I want something in return." Jason stayed quiet. He wanted her to speak first. "My mother is preparing something," Velena continued. "A political move. She wants to test how your people react. That's why I'm here." Jason narrowed his eyes. "A war?" Velena shook her head. "Not yet, but soon. She wants proof that humans will back down. If enough females push." Jason leaned forward. "And what's your price for this information?" Velena looked at him carefully. "Teach me your ways, your customs, especially ... Why males serve females without fear." Jason gave a slow, surprised nod. "You want to learn human culture?" "I want to understand how weakness and strength can exist together." Jason stood up. "Then we'll start with lesson 1 tomorrow." As he walked out, she asked softly, "Will you open the door for me again?" Jason looked back and smiled. "Ladies first." Velena stood in the training bay, watching humans move in pairs. Crew members laughed, shared tasks, and even helped each other without orders. To her, it looked chaotic, but also ... warm. Jason entered with a datapad in hand. "All right," he said. "First lesson, teamwork." She raised an eyebrow. "We have teams too, human." But ours follow rank, orders. No one questions. Jason nodded. Ours do too, but we listen. We help each other, even when it's not about orders. We call it trust. Velena frowned. Trust is weakness. Jason smiled. That's what I want to show you. He pointed to two engineers fixing a broken wall panel. Watch, he said. One of the women dropped a tool. The male beside her bent to pick it up and gave it back with a smile. Velena blinked. He serves her? No, Jason replied. He supports her. That's different. Velena folded her arms. Why do your males act so soft? Are they not afraid of being seen as weak? Jason laughed. We don't judge strength by who's louder or colder. We judge it by how much someone protects others. Velena was quiet. She remembered her own combat training, brutal, heartless, endless. Her mother never smiled, never thanked. Just expected more. Later, Jason took her to the dining hall. It was lunch hour. Crew members sat together, laughing and eating side by side. Velena looked shocked. Your leaders eat with the common soldiers? Jason took a seat beside an ensign and motioned for her to sit. We're all part of the same ship, he said. Rank matters in work, but here, we're family. Velena sat slowly. She looked at the food, then at Jason. I don't understand you, she said. You let females speak freely. You protect them. You share power, even meals. Jason smiled. We do it because we believe everyone matters. Not just one gender, not just the strongest. She tilted her head. But on my world, males are hidden, controlled. Our power lies in females. Males are quiet. Jason met her eyes. And are your people happy? Velena didn't answer. That night, Velena stared at her reflection in the mirror. She touched. The edge of her jaw, the bruise from her sparring with Jason, was still there. He hadn't held back. He treated her as an equal, and strangely, she liked it. The next day, she returned to the training bay. This time, Jason let her join the crew. In basic drills, she was faster, stronger, but something strange happened. She dropped her weapon. A male crewman reached out to hand it back to her. She froze. She wasn't used to kindness. She took it slowly. Thank you, she said awkwardly. The man smiled and nodded, walking away. Velena looked down at the weapon, her mind spinning. After the drill, Jason gave her a datapad filled with human history. Lesson 2, he said. Read about the early Earth Wars. You'll find stories of women and men fighting side by side, saving each other, dying for each other. Velena nodded slowly. And now you do not fight each other at all? Jason shook his head. Not like before. We've learned. We argue, sure, but we've moved forward. She scrolled through the pages, pausing at a picture of a human male shielding a woman with his body during battle. Why do your males protect females? She asked again. Jason replied, because we love them. Respect them. We don't see it as weakness. We see it as honor. Velena stared at the image for a long time. That evening, Velena asked Jason something unexpected. May I see Earth? In person? Jason looked surprised. You want to visit my planet? She nodded. I want to see if your words are real. If your people truly live like this. Jason hesitated. That's not up to me. Earth Command would never allow a Corellian princess to walk freely. I would not be a princess, she said. Just a student, a guest. Jason sighed. That's a big ask. Velena stepped closer. I gave you information, my mother's plans. I stayed here willingly. I fight no more. Jason looked into her eyes. He didn't see a spy anymore. He saw a woman who wanted to learn. Jason stood in the communications room, arms crossed, eyes on the screen. The Earth Command representative, Admiral Lee, looked serious. Her voice came through sharp and firm. "You're telling me a Corellian, Royal, a confirmed combatant, wants to visit Earth as a student?" Jason nodded. "Yes, Admiral. She's learning, changing. She gave us information about her mother's future plans." Admiral Lee leaned forward. "And you believe her?" Jason paused, then said, "Yes, I do." "Request denied," she snapped. "Corellians are too dangerous. If the public finds out we're hosting one of their warriors, especially a female, Royal, it could cause panic." Jason's jaw tightened. "She's not here to fight anymore." "Even more reason to be cautious," the Admiral replied. "They're master manipulators. You've seen how they use diplomacy to hide attacks." Jason opened his mouth, but the screen went black. The call had ended. Back in her quarters, Valena was watching a human documentary on culture. She seemed relaxed, but her eyes were focused, absorbing everything. When Jason entered, she looked up quickly. "Did they agree?" Jason shook his head. "No." Earth Command said no. Valana's face didn't show anger, just disappointment. "I see," she said quietly. "They still fear me." Jason sat across from her. "It's not about you. It's politics, history." Valena looked down. "On my world, no one fears a soft male. On yours, everyone fears a strong female." Jason frowned. "That's not true." "Then why do they keep me locked here?" she asked. Jason didn't answer. The next day, Jason was called to the bridge. "Commander," Sarah said, "we've got something. A Corellian scout ship heading this way. Fast." Jason's eyes narrowed. "Hostile?" "No weapons charged. But strange pattern. It's circling, not approaching directly." Jason checked the scanner. "They're watching us." Sarah looked worried. "You think they know Valena is on board?" Jason nodded. "Probably. And they want her back." Later that night, Valena stood alone in the training bay. Jason found her there, throwing sharp strikes at the air, practicing old movements from her homeworld. "You still train?" Jason asked. "It helps me think," she replied. "My mother won't stop. She'll come for me soon." Jason leaned against the wall. "Then maybe we should prepare." Valena turned toward him. "You should let me go." Jason's eyes locked onto hers. "You want to leave?" "No," she said quickly. "But if I stay, you risk war." "Your command already distrusts me." Jason shook his head. "If you walk away now, nothing changes. But if you stay, if you keep learning, you change everything." Valena stepped closer. "You're willing to risk your own people's anger for me?" Jason didn't speak. His silence said it all. In the command room, the Corellian ship sent a direct transmission. Jason opened the channel. A tall, powerful Corellian woman appeared on screen. Valena's mother, the High Matron. Her voice was strong, cold. "Return my daughter human, now." Jason stood tall. "She came willingly. She is not a prisoner. And she does not wish to return." The matron's eyes narrowed. "She is confused. You have filled her head with lies, with weakness." Jason replied calmly, "Or maybe with truth." The matron growled. "If she stays with you, I will take her back by force." Then the screen went dark. Valena entered moments later. She had heard everything from the hallway. "She never calls me her daughter unless it's about power," she said bitterly. "Now I am just a name she wants to control." Jason looked at her. "If you want to leave, I won't stop you. But I won't give you back either." Valena stepped closer. "Do you think I fear her?" "No," Jason said. "But I think she fears you, because you've changed." Valena smiled faintly. "Your world, your customs, they've infected me. I don't want to live like a weapon anymore." Jason nodded. "Then we stand together." Suddenly, the ship shook. Alarms blared. Sarah's voice came over the comm. Kirelian ship is powering weapons. Jason rushed to the bridge. Shields up. Prepare for evasive maneuvers. Velena stood beside him. Let me speak to her, she said. Jason hesitated, then gave the order. Open a secure channel. Let Velena talk. On screen, the matron's face returned, cold, ready for war. Velena stood tall, proud, unshaken. I am not your tool anymore, she said calmly. I have seen another way, and I choose it. The matron's eyes burned with fury. You choose weakness. I choose freedom, Velena replied. There was silence. Then. The Kirelian ship powered down. And disappeared into the blackness of space. Asterisk. The silence after the Kirelian ship vanished felt heavy. Jason stood on the bridge, staring at the empty screen. The crew was stunned. No one had expected the High Matron to retreat without firing. Velena, standing beside him, was calm, but her fingers were shaking. Quietly. She'd be back, she said. Jason nodded. I know, but you made a choice. Lana turned to face him. I didn't just defy my mother. I defied everything I was trained to believe. Hours later, Earth Command sent a new message. Jason entered the communications room and stood in front of Admiral Lee again. Her face was cold. You let her speak on an open channel? The Admiral asked. You let her challenge her own people using our ship? Jason replied firmly. She prevented a war. She provoked one, Lee snapped. She is now a traitor. To her own kind. That makes her even more dangerous. Jason's jaw tightened. She is not a weapon, she's a person. Admiral Lee leaned forward. That's not your call anymore, Commander. You're ordered to return to Earth with the alien for full interrogation and containment. Jason's hands balled into fists. She came willingly. Lee's voice hardened. And now she will stay unwillingly. The screen went black. Jason returned to his quarters and found Velena waiting. They want to lock me up, don't they? She asked softly. Jason didn't lie. Yes, they're scared of what you've become. Velena sat down slowly. I thought learning your ways would bring peace. Instead, it's brought me more enemies. Jason sat across from her. You're not alone. Velena looked into his eyes. You risk everything for me. Why? Jason didn't answer immediately. Then he said, because I believe in who you're becoming, not who you were. The next day, whispers moved across the ship. Some crew members were angry, others confused. A few defended Velena. Why are we protecting a traitor? One officer muttered, she saved us, said another. She could be a spy. The ship was divided. Trust was cracking. Jason called a meeting with the entire crew in the central hall. He stood beside Velena and looked out at them. I know many of you are unsure, he began. She was an enemy. But now she is our guest, our student, and maybe our friend. Someone in the back called out, but what if she turns on us later? Jason stepped forward. She had the chance already. She didn't take it. Instead, she stood between us and war. Velena stepped up beside him. Her voice was calm, but strong. In my world, only the strongest speak. But here, your strength is different. It comes from unity, from trust. I don't expect to be forgiven for who I was, but I ask to be judged for who I am now. The hall was silent. Then someone clapped. Then another. And soon, most of the room joined in, but not everyone agreed. Commander Bryce met Jason in the corridor later. This is a mistake, Bryce warned. Earth Command is watching. They might remove you from duty. Jason replied calmly, then they can try. Bryce narrowed his eyes. You'd lose your rank for her? Jason stared him down. I'd lose more than that if I stood by and watched someone brave be punished for doing the right thing. That night, Velena sat alone by the observation window. Stars filled the sky. Jason joined her, holding 2 cups of tea. Something warm, he said. She took the cup and smiled slightly. You humans are strange. You show kindness even when the world is against you. Jason nodded. Sometimes that's what makes us strong. Velena sipped the tea and asked, If Earth Command tries to take me, will you fight them? Jason answered without pause, Yes. She looked away. Then I am no longer just a traitor to the Corellians. I'm a problem for the humans too. Jason leaned forward. Maybe, or maybe. You're the bridge between 2 worlds. Velena didn't speak, but her eyes said everything. The silence of space was broken by a single message. This is Earth Command Retrieval Squad Alpha. Prepare the Corellian subject for secure extraction. You have 1 hour. Jason read the order on the main screen. The words felt like a knife. In his chest, Sarah turned to him. They're serious, Commander. They're treating her like a threat. Jason clenched his fists. She's not a threat. She's a guest. She's changing. Bryce entered the room. It's out of your hands. Now. If you don't hand her over, they'll remove you. Jason looked at him. Let them try. Velena stood at the window in her room, watching the stars. When Jason entered, she turned. They've come, haven't they? She asked quietly. Jason nodded. They want to take you, not for questioning, for containment. Velena's shoulders dropped. They fear what I represent. You represent change, Jason said. They don't like change. She turned to him, eyes serious. Will you let them take me? No, Jason said softly. But we need a plan. Sarah, Jason, and Velena met in the engineering bay to avoid attention. Sarah whispered, There's an emergency escape pod system in Maintenance Bay 4. If we reprogram its signal, Earth Command will think it's just another supply drone. Jason added, We'll send her to the outer orbit. Then a shuttle from one of our science colonies can meet her in secret. Velena looked at them both. You're risking your careers. Jason looked her in the eyes. Some things are worth it. Meanwhile, on the upper deck, Commander Bryce was suspicious. He saw movement on the logs, an old supply pod being activated. He tapped his comm. Bridge, lock down all escape systems. And send a detail to Maintenance Bay 4. The trap was set. Velena stood in front of the escape pod, ready to go. Jason gave her a small black wristband. It's a signal device, he said. You press this, and I'll come for you. No matter what. Velena looked at him. I don't want to leave you behind. Jason smiled. You won't. This isn't goodbye. Just a step forward. She hesitated, then placed a hand on his shoulder. I still don't understand everything about your people, she said. But I understand one thing. What's that? He asked. You protect with your heart. And that's stronger than any weapon. They shared a silent look full of respect, trust, and something deeper. Then dash boom. An explosion shook the hallway. Security forces stormed in. Bryce stood behind them. Step away from the pod. He shouted. Jason moved in front of Velena. You're making a mistake, he warned. Bryce didn't lower his weapon. She's an alien royal, a traitor, and you're helping her escape. Jason stood tall. Yes, I am. Bryce raised his blaster. Velena stepped beside Jason. Don't hurt him. I'll go peacefully. Jason turned. No. She gave him a small, almost sad smile. This is my fight. Suddenly, Sarah's voice came through the comm. Emergency detected in engine room. Fire in section 3. Bryce turned his head. That was the moment. Jason hit the emergency override. The pod door opened. Go now, he shouted. Velena looked at him one last time, then jumped into the pod. The door sealed. Jason hit the launch. The pod shot out into space. Just as security tackled him to the floor, Bryce looked at the screen. "Where is it heading?" he demanded. Sarah's voice replied, "Outer asteroid field." "Just a cargo pod. No life signs." Bryce cursed. "We'll find her." But by the time Earth Command searched the field, Velena was already gone. Back in her small pod, Velena looked out at the stars. She clutched the signal band Jason gave her. Her heart was pounding, but her face was calm. For the first time in her life, she was truly free. Jason sat in the brig, stripped of command, alone, but he didn't regret it. Sarah came to visit him. Passing a message chip through the slot, he opened it. Velena's voice played. "You showed me what strength really is. You risked everything for me. Now I must do the same for others. I will not hide. I will teach. And one day I will return not as a threat, but as proof that peace is possible. Until then, ladies first." Jason smiled. 6 months had passed. Velena stood in front of a crowd of beings, humans, aliens, scientists, and refugees. They had gathered on a small independent moon far from Earth, far from the Corellian Empire. They called it Haven, a place with no rulers, no titles, no fear. And Velena was its voice. She spoke calmly, confidently to the crowd gathered in the open dome hall. "On my homeworld," she began, "I was taught that strength came from control, that females must lead and males must obey." There were murmurs in the crowd. She raised her hand. But I was wrong. Or rather, I was only taught half the truth. The other half, I learned from a human. A hologram flickered beside her, an image of Commander Jason Reed. Jason showed me that true strength is not about power or fear. It's about standing for others. Even when you stand alone. Many in the crowd nodded. Some clapped. Velena continued, "Haven will not follow the rules of empires or old traditions. Here, we choose our leaders based on wisdom. Here, no one goes first because of gender or species. We walk together." She looked out over the crowd, in honor of those who stood for peace and were punished for it. We begin something new. On Earth, Jason Reed sat in a quiet cabin deep in the forests of Alaska. He had been discharged, stripped of his rank, and labeled unreliable by Earth Command. But none of that mattered. He had his peace. And one small holotransmitter that blinked every few days with a message from Velena. Today, the screen lit up again. Her voice came through with warmth and purpose. "Haven is growing. 3 Corellian families defected last week. 2 human scientists just arrived. They brought supplies and data. We're starting a school." Jason smiled. "I told the children about Earth's strange ways, like opening doors for others. They laughed, but they understood." Then her voice paused, a little softer. "I wish you could see it. Maybe one day you will." Jason replied, "One day." Back on Haven, Velena walked through the central gardens with 2 young girls, one Corellian, one human. They were playing, laughing, chasing each other. Under the glass dome, a Corellian elder approached her. "We have reports," he said. "Your mother is searching again. Her ships are near the red dust fields." Velena nodded. "Let her come. I will not hide. If she wants war, I will offer peace again." The elder looked uncertain. "And if she refuses?" Velena looked to the children. "Then I'll show her Haven, not with weapons, but with what she fears most." The elder frowned. "What's that?" Velena replied, "Change." Meanwhile, in a secret Corellian council chamber, the High Matron listened to her scouts. "Velena has created a settlement, a mixed colony," one reported. "She speaks of balance, of unity." The matron's face was stone. "She spreads poison." Another scout added, "Some of our young warriors are asking questions. They are curious about her message. The matron stood. Find her. Silence her. Before her voice becomes louder than mine. Back on Haven, Velena gathered with her council, a mix of former humans, aliens, and even a few Corellians who had once served under her. They stood around a table lit by a holomap. They're coming, said one former Earth officer. Scanners picked up movement. It may be her. Velena looked calm. Then we prepare, but not for war. They looked at her, confused. We prepare to welcome them, she explained, not with weapons. With truth. When the Corellian ship finally landed outside Haven's borders, Velena walked to the gates alone. She wore no armor. She carried no weapon. Her mother, the High Matron, stepped out surrounded by guards. They stared at each other. Velena spoke. First, welcome to Haven, her mother sneered. You built this weakness? Velena pointed behind her. Come see what strength really is. The matron stepped forward. Her guards hesitated, but she walked in. She saw the people. The peace. The children laughing. Corellian and human alike. She saw something she never expected. Hoped later. As the sun set over Haven's dome, Velena stood by the main building. Jason's voice came again through the small device in her hand. Still standing? She smiled. Still leading, he replied. You've come far. She whispered, because you showed me the way. Jason asked softly, so, do females still go first? Velena laughed gently. Yes, but not because they must. Because they choose to lead with love.